I have quite a few issues with Battlefield Hardline, and today I want to sit down and talk a little bit about them. I participated in the alpha, participated now in the beta. I've played around, I don't know, if I were to guess, maybe like 10 hours of the game thus far, and I don't know, I'm pretty disappointed really, because when it was announced, I immediately said, that is not a terrible idea. That scenario, that theme, with the cops and the heists and the stuff, that is a lot more interesting than just putting out another, like, military war themed, I don't know, Afghanistan, Iraq situation game, right? That was a terrible way of describing it, but still, you know what I'm saying. I liked how it tried to be different in that regard. But if you do that, see, you raise expectations. If you name The Dark Knight, for example, the beginning heist scene, I mean, or if you name a movie like Heist, for example, as your inspiration for the game, people want to experience that, right? You have clear ideas of how a heist situation should feel. And if your game doesn't feel like that, I think your game has a big problem on its hands, because right now, there's not enough in there to distinguish it from your typical war scenario battlefield. This doesn't feel like you're doing like a tactical operation kind of thing, like more or less damage control, which is what it should be if you're, for example, looking at the cop side, right? What you should do as a cop is do damage control and not slaughter a fuck ton of criminals. Excuse my language, but that is more or less what it is. So I found myself in this beta standing on rooftops, chucking down grenades, killing 3 to 5 people at a time as a cop after events like Ferguson happened. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but this doesn't feel like what the theme wants me to feel, and that bothers me a lot. It feels like we're just participating in some kind of all-out urban warfare, and I've never heard of anything like this happening ever. And I don't need my games to be realistic, but I need my games to be believable, I would say, that its own game logic makes sense, and it doesn't. I don't know. Because, I mean, when you start up a game, you have this, like, news broadcast thing introducing the scenario, what is currently going on in downtown LA or whatever. And, see, that is a very reasonable way of doing it, but also it is immediately contrasted by all-out warfare, which makes it feel so off and weird. I don't know. See, that is my core issue with the game. It certainly has other issues. There's also really things that I like about it. To maybe name a few, the weapons handle really well. I think the animation overall is spot on. Sometimes the way he holds his weapon, I really like that. I like the engine as well. I think they really could have done something with this concept, right? Adding this theme to the Battlefield engine. I don't think they succeed with that though. And see, there's 3 game modes in the beta. One of them I didn't even try, Hotwire I think it's called, because I just thought it sounded stupid from the little like description text they give you. This, what I'm showing off right now, is Heist, and then they also have Conquest, which, funnily enough, and we'll skip to Conquest footage in a second here, was the most fun that I had with Hardline. It really was, because that, in the end, then just becomes Battlefield. Like, here it's trying to kind of set up this heist situation. Even when you start up, you are, like, this is actually one thing that it does reasonably well, is when you start up as criminals, for example, you have all these corpses lying around, and there's blood everywhere, and, like, the gate opens up. That thematically makes me feel like a heist is about to go down. What happens afterwards doesn't. And in the Conquest mode, no such thing ever happens, because then it's just war. It's just Battlefield. And yeah, we're switching to it right now. And here it works, but it only works like Battlefield 4 already did. And I don't feel any desire to spend time with Hardline if it's more or less the same experience, right? They could have really done something awesome with this. They could have, or let's maybe now switch to should have, which, I mean, that is of course always debatable, but in my opinion, what they should have done is really thought about the core gameplay of it. How can we change what we have here in order to make it fit our theme? And once again, to go back to the expectations that you have regarding heist scenarios, is you kind of think of it as a slow-moving thing with high stakes, where every death is really, really important and really matters, and where people don't respawn like on other guys and respawn super quickly, and where, I don't know, so many bullets only take down a guy. It's more like Battlefield pressed into this look, right? Everything about it looks good. I really like the way it looks. I like how it's set up. The UI is great as well, I would say. It's a lot better than it was in the alpha. And like aesthetically, I think they got something going here. But graphically, excuse me, like gameplay wise, I mean, they don't, and that is so sad. It really is sad. I don't know. I would have liked for this to be an outstanding little thing. Like, I didn't need it to be anything big, but they apparently needed it to be enough Battlefield in order to sell really well, in order to market it easily and not spend too much money on it. It's a bummer. I'm not gonna buy Battlefield Hardline because I don't fancy playing more Battlefield 4, essentially. And what they're doing here in order to like distinguish it from Battlefield 4, in my opinion, just isn't enough. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my little opinion piece here on Battlefield Hardline. There's plenty of games coming out this year. Kind of nice to know that this is one you are not necessarily going to have to pick up. Anyway, goodbye. See you later.